Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready. Prepare for blasting.
Your fortress of solitude.
Greetings, program.
Glad you're alive.
Your sanctum sanctorum.
Resistance is futile.
Welcome.
This is the first triumph. This is where the fun begins.
Proof positive that geeks have inherited the earth.
It's showtime.
It's time to get your geek on.
You complete me.
With Dave Gramillion.
Outstanding! Welcome here on another pleasant and lovely Sunday afternoon. I am Dave Gramillion, and welcome to Get Your Geek On. This is the premier talk radio show for Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, esports, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on Freedom 1160 Talk Radio and Freedom1160.com. This is Season 3, Episode 3, and today we are going to be talking about, well, quite a few things. DC trying to dominate the internet with DC Universe streaming, so Disney has announced that they're buying the entire internet. Evagiline Lily says her suit was not comfy and doesn't see what all the fuss is about. Scarlett Johansson says, wait a minute, I don't get a movie or a comfortable suit. When did that happen? Unemployment rate is the lowest it has been in the entire 21st century in the U.S. of A. Kathleen Kennedy says, no problem, I'll take care of that for you. And Donald Trump considering adding a woman to the Supreme Court. Marvel's very confused because there's already one woman on there. Why are we adding another? Marvel didn't get it. They don't understand. So we got lots of Marvel news. We got some DCEU news that we're talking about. We're going to rank all 10 Star Wars movies. No, we're not going to get into the Clone Wars movie. I mean, the actual live-action cinematic. We're not doing Battle for Endor, Caravan of Courage, nothing like that.
Wait, we're not doing Battle of Endor?
We're not doing Battle of Endor.
Dang it.
And the Star Wars Holiday Special is just right out the window. We love Pat Proft. We really do. We're not doing it.
Well, now I got to go re-rank since Battle of Endor's out.
And since Ant-Man and the Wasp is on the way, we're going to be doing our box office predictions. And in true Get Your Geek On tradition, the loser will have to do something extremely uncomfortable and rather embarrassing and humiliating. We're looking at you, newbie. We're looking at you.
Where will that punishment be shown?
We're probably going to show that, I think, on YouTube. I think we'll make that a YouTube exclusive.
Twitch.tv.
We're going to Twitch.tv?
Yeah.
All right, we can make it a Twitch exclusive, and then we'll load it to YouTube later. Best of both worlds. Outstanding. Okay, so let me introduce my partners in crime here. On my left, your right, as you look across the radio dial, you will see our Wolverine cosplayer. He is our 4 or 5-year-old who forgot to turn off his phone as he comes into a radio studio. He is the one, the only... Not sure on a nickname yet. We're working on this. I'm thinking either newbie, or it has been suggested by our chat over at facebook.com/GYGO radio. We call him clickbait. I'm not sure about that. But either way, let's welcome in Alex Chavez.
Hey.
Alex, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good, David. I'm excited to be back again to talk more things geek, and maybe this week Goose will stop flirting with me. We'll see.
I promise nothing at this point. So, especially because Goose is shaking his head and looking at you like, what are you even talking about? So, speaking of which, if you look further to my left, your right, as you look across the radio dial, you will see the man spinning the ones and zeros, our sound prognosticator. He is Goose. Hey, Goose, how you doing?
I'm happy. DC Universe made me very happy on Thursday.
Yeah, you were really bouncing.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You were loving that.
You have no idea how happy I am.
And we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and on the flip side of the coin there, let's talk some Marvel news.
This is that sequel to the smash hit, no equal.
Alrighty, so you know what is also really cool to talk about is Havoc, the Heroes and Villains of cosplay group here in San Antonio. I just got done wrapping up a photo shoot for them. These guys are fantastic. If you have questions about cosplaying, no problem. If you want to cosplay but you're just not sure if your costume's right or if it's, movie screen accurate, doesn't matter. You can cosplay whatever you want, and that's the beautiful part about Havoc, the heroes and villains of cosplay. All right, so the Star Wars fan base is imploding. They're eating each other right now, and for all we know, the DCEU may not even exist 12 months from now, but Marvel's biggest problem right now is who has the most comfortable suits. Evangeline Lilly, who was the co-star of Ant-Man and the Wasp, has come out, and we have an audio clip here. She did an interview in which she was kind of chastising her male counterparts for their complaining and whining about the suits. Let's go to that clip.
I have been hearing Marvel male superheroes complain about their suits for years. And I got into my suit, and I was, wearing it, working in it, doing my thing, and I was like, it's just not that bad. Do I have the most comfortable suit in the MCU? Or have men not had the life experience of being uncomfortable for the sake of looking good, and they're just like, what is this? This sucks. Why do I have to go through this? Whereas a woman's like, I don't know, it's like normal. I wear heels to work, I'm uncomfortable all day. You get used to it, you tune it out.
So that's what she's talking about. She lifted her leg, like her foot up to her head, and was showing off these, 85-inch stiletto spiked, can kill a man if she wanted to, heels. And, okay, first of all, she doesn't have to wear those. So, now, hold on, ladies. Hold on. Look. I get it. I mean, she could wear flats, though, if she wanted to. I mean, there's no reason for her to actually be wearing those heels if she wants to. However, yeah, they're not comfortable at all.
So I have a question. Do you have your own personal Twitter account?
No. I do not. Thank God.
I was about to say, send your hate tweets.
No, absolutely, absolutely not. No, she's right, though. I mean, the heels are uncomfortable, and women in Hollywood are expected to wear them. I get that sort of thing. But here's the thing. The guy's suits, first, I've never heard it. Have y'all ever heard someone complain about their suit?
There was...
Only Alex.
No, obviously they're not the same quality, but when you cosplay a lot, wearing anything like that, they make it look like it works really well in the movies. Super restrictive, super hot. Now, going to the actual actors, there was a panel, I forgot where exactly it was, but it was either when Civil War came out or Age of Ultron, where I believe it was Elizabeth Olsen was talking about how the guys sweat a whole lot, how they get really smelly.
Yeah.
And then I believe it was like Chris Evans. For a while, he was very upfront talking about how certain suits weren't extremely comfortable, or what suits were his favorite because of mobility.
If she chooses to wear these 4 or 5-inch stilettos, that's on her. Now, I don't want this to devolve into fashion talk because that's really not what we're about. And to be honest, a lot of people just don't care. But if that's her big beef is that her male co-stars are whining about their suits, I mean, really, compared to the DCEU and what Star Wars is going through, and even Star Trek to some degree, if that's all Marvel's got to worry about, then, man, they are sitting pretty. They really are. Now, Kevin Feige has come out. He's talking about the Captain Marvel movie. And he said, quote, "We are about 2 weeks away from completion of principal photography." So, and that was a few days ago. So, really, maybe about a week away, realistically speaking. And when we can expect a trailer, he said, quote, "I think there's still a few months on it." So that's okay. So maybe we'll see it sometime October-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be really cool if they could, debut it at Alamo City Comic Con, just saying, Halloween weekend. But so we're still a few months away from that. Hopefully, though, we'll get it sometime before Christmas. We'll get to see what that's all about. Feige also went on to point out that the MCU, quote, "deliberately killed off anyone who was not an original Avenger."
Not true.
Well, yeah, who?
Nebula.
No,
That's true.
She wasn't an original Avenger.
I know, but she didn't die.
Oh, well, okay, but...
Yeah, and Rocket.
And Rocket.
And Rocket, that's true. But as far as the core Avengers, they're still around.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means, even though he wasn't in the movie, Hawkeye is still around.
Definitely.
But Hawkeye's family may not be.
Hawkeye's family may not, but Hawkeye himself, good to go, which is good news. So, so Avengers 4 really will be their last hurrah. This is going to be them coming together, saving the universe as we know it, and kicking the crap out of Thanos. I love how people say It's like, oh man, I don't know why everyone's so emotional about the end to Avengers 3, because they're going to save the day. It's only temporary. That they're going to find a way to beat Thanos and save everyone. Well, of course they are. Hello. Yeah. What, have you just started watching movies recently? They've been doing that since the dawn of movies. Of course the good guy saves the day. He always does. Yeah. But it's a question of how. It's a question of who. And it's a question of who does not survive.
Yeah, and not only that, audiences have grown with these characters for over 10 years at this point. So there's just that much more impact to it. That's why in Batman v Superman, which is the second movie into the DC universe, when Superman bites it, you're kind of like, oh, that's bad, I guess.
Oh, well, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you weren't as connected to him as you are to, like, Bucky, who's been in, like, 3 movies at this point, or Cap, who's been in almost every other movie. Okay.
All right, so you brought up Zack Snyder.
Oh, God, that's a mistake.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Can't do that.
I read recently that he said that wasn't the actual Doomsday.
Zach, he's just fighting.
He's just trolling us at this point.
He's
backpedaling. Troll machine.
He's backpedaling so hard. Oh, that also wasn't the real Superman. I'm just saying that wasn't a real movie either.
But I'm just saying,
that was a fan film I threw together. Just saying, just putting it.
Actually, I've seen fan films that are better, but whatever.
Maybe that means it wasn't the real Lois Lane either, and we're gonna have a better Lois Lane.
I don't think anything about that.
Can we just get a better director? Oh wait, he got fired. Never mind.
Dang.
But no, it's people need to stop trolling. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I agree.
Shame on you.
I can agree with that. Okay, so rumors started to come abound because all this talk now about Star Wars and what are they going to do, and are the movies shelved or are they not shelved? By the way, they're not. They're still going ahead with production.
I'm sorry, what started?
That would be talk about Marvel and Star Wars.
No, but what did you say was floating around?
Rumors. And so all these rumors were abound because if you're going to have movies, you got to have directors. And why not Kevin Smith? So all these clickbait sites started to throw around these rumors that Kevin Smith was going to direct either a Marvel or a Star Wars movie. Now, for my money, I'd love to see him do like a Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina or a Bounty Hunter movie. I think he'd be great at it. I really do. But Kevin Smith came out on his Twitter feed and said, quote, "The only Star Wars or Marvel Studios movies I'm involved with are the ones I pay to see in theaters. Promise." End quote. So no Kevin Smith, not on Star Wars, not on Marvel. He's good. He didn't say if he was approached, if he approached them. But at the same time, regardless, it's not going to happen. So, for all you Kevin Smith fans out there, and there are a lot, sadly, he is not going to be doing anything regarding Marvel or Star Wars going forward.
That makes me sad.
It does?
It does.
I think it's awesome.
I've enjoyed his work with the DC television.
And I think that's a lane that he should stay in. Like, I think he works good in that kind of realm.
In the television environment?
Yeah, and I really like, especially with Marvel, how they're getting these up-and-coming directors to do these things so we can get that new flavor in these movies. And I just feel that, Kevin Smith has done a lot of great stuff, but I would rather see new things than someone else who's been doing it, do it again, and potentially do it not as good as maybe a newer face would.
I have to admit, I am kind of looking forward to the next generation of directors.
Yeah,
the next crop of young go-getters. I remember back in the 80s when Spielberg and Lucas were out there to buck the system. They were doing different things and these different shots and these different movies. And, of course, now they're all mainstream. I mean, nobody thought Raiders of the Lost Ark was going to be a big hit, and yet here we are. So I'm looking forward to some new crop, some new young
and everybody thought that Indy 4 was going to be a hit.
It was the best one.
You get out now.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we're looking for an opening. We have an opening now. So
Deadpool's here. He can
get out.
It was a hit. It hit the floor pretty hard. So
dang.
That was pretty good. All right, speaking of hitting the floor pretty hard, we're going to move on here back to the other side of the coin, and we're going to talk about the DCEU. This segment is brought to you by our friends over at Laser Legend. Laser Legend is on the north side of San Antonio between I-35 and Rolling Oaks Mall. They're off of Lookout Road. Every time I go there, man, I always have a blast. And guys, it is super hot out there. Seriously, I looked at the 10-day forecast, and it's like 99, 102, 105. index is somewhere between like 400 and 500 degrees.
Yes.
So you got to get indoors, and that's why you take advantage of their weekday special over at Laser Legend. They've got tremendous sales going on. You can stay there for 1, 2, 3 hours indoors in their air conditioner, enjoying their wide range of food, drink specials, playing on their 4,000 square foot arcade floor, enjoying their 2-floor laser tag arena, at which I kick Goose's ass, just all the time. Also, their indoor miniature golf. I mean, there's a lot you can do at Laser Legend, and it doesn't break the bank whatsoever. Every time we go out there, we have a great time, and we recommend that y'all do as well. Alrighty, so the hits just keep on coming for the DCEU. Every time we talk about them, it's usually something negative, and I swear to God it's not done on purpose. It's just that all the news that comes out, there's just not a lot of good news to come out of the DCEU.
You're just a hater. Let's just admit that.
Okay, give me some good news. Go ahead. Give me
Zack
something.
Snyder got fired.
Yeah, last year.
Their Wonder Woman looks really good. Chris Pine's wearing a fanny pack.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
We could be not seeing the Invisible Jet. And
we might or might not be seeing the not invisible, maybe kind of sort of visible jet.
Well, we saw the same in the first movie then.
Could
No.
be.
We didn't see Invisible Jet in the first movie.
Yeah, we're not going to see it in the second one either.
Yeah.
But a bum.
There you
So
go.
the hits just keep on coming, and that's where the rumor alert comes into play. All right, so take this with a grain of salt, because the source on this is rather amusing. Mario Francisco Robles, the editor-in-chief of Revenge of the Fans, appeared on the El Fanboy podcast. And if you think this sounds like the beginning of a really bad detective story, then yeah, you're not too far off. He said, quote, essentially they, being Warner Brothers, want to develop the Batman movie as if it is a reboot. They're not going to make any overt statements about it. They're just going to make a movie about a younger Batman.
I'm okay with that.
No, I'm not thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't need him. I don't need Batman Beyond. I don't need an old Bruce Wayne, but I don't need him in his teens either. I don't need a millennial Batman.
No. But I want to see a good Batman with Robin movie.
Well,
we can't obviously have that as part of the DCEU since they killed Robin, and he's still not over that. He still has anger and stuff from that. Mm-hmm. The Batfleck's not going to be apt to get a Robin, whereas we can see what happened in leading up to the Robin that maybe died, or even the Robin before that.
Okay, now that would be something if they paired off, late 20s, early 30s Batman with a young Robin, and we get a couple of movies, and then they kill him in like the third movie, and then you can go back and watch Batman, Superman, and you're like, oh, I get that. Now I can see that.
But if I see Thomas and Martha Wayne die one more time.
Yeah, I swear to God. I mean, have we seen any origin story told more often than that?
Spider-Man.
No, not
Superman.
even. No,
not even.
Superman was only
Twice.
just the first
Because
one.
they didn't do it in Returns.
Technically, we saw it in the second movie, too.
Oh, you're right. They kind of retreaded.
Yeah,
that.
They
bit,
did
little
the
bit.
previously on Superman type.
But seriously, though,
montage.
okay, so in the first Batman, in 1989, we got Thomas and Martha. Batman Returns. There was another flashback. There was a little flashback. So that's two.
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins. There was another one.
Well, even in Forever, when he's talking to the psychiatrist.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's the flashback there also. That's 4. Then we go to Batman Superman.
And Gotham.
I was about to say, and Gotham.
So that's 6.
Yeah.
6 Thomas and Martha Wayne shootings.
Yeah. Well, the revolver's empty now, so hopefully they won't get shot again.
He's got no more bullets in the chamber. All 6 are done.
Well, I was going to say, I don't see how DC continues to make... I don't see how they're going to be able to make a mistake like this, or why they're going to let themselves make the mistake of separating the DCEU from this new Batman property that they're building, because they were going to do the same thing in early 2004, 2005. They were going to do a Justice League film, and they had Armie Hammer playing Batman. They already had a whole cast. They had everything worked out. And then the main reason they didn't do that is because they said, well, we have a new Batman franchise coming out, and we don't want to confuse our viewers. So if they knew that in 2006, why now are they doing the opposite and going, oh, it's totally going to work?
Yeah, so this guy, Mario Francisco Robles, goes on to say, quote, they're going to make Batman as his own standalone franchise. They're going to basically start him over. And that confuses the hell out of me. I don't know about you, but can you imagine if there was an Avengers universe, but Tony Stark was like completely separate from that? It'd be like, how come we don't have Iron Man in? I can't even picture that in my mind, an Avengers universe where Tony Stark is doing his own thing and never hooks up with the Avengers.
Well, to be fair, in the 90s, they had a Fantastic Four cartoon and an Iron Man cartoon, and neither of the twain met.
Right, but that's in their own universe. Now, if we had a Thor universe and an Iron Man universe and they never came together, I'd be cool with that. But I can't picture an MCU. It just doesn't enter my mind without Iron Man in it. It doesn't happen. So how are you going to go forward with this Justice League universe that they're putting together, and then have a Batman standalone universe also? It's going to confuse everyone.
Well, like the Joker origin movie.
That's
going to be separate.
But all that stuff to me is just super. I mean, it would be as if during the Bruce Timm time of all the Justice League animated stuff, if they did a Bruce Timm style, here's an Aquaman show that is in no way affiliated with this, but it's still like the same people making it, the same everything. It's just not affiliated. Like, it's just super confusing.
Yeah, it's just going to confuse people. Now, the Batman solo film does not have a production start date, nor does it have anybody cast, nor does it have a release date.
And if it ends up in development hell, I'm okay with that.
Development for like 3 years. Give it the original Star Wars treatment. Give it 3 years, please. So HBO has gotten themselves a Watchmen series.
Yay!
Which is good. That's great. HeroicHollywood.com has announced, this was on Thursday, that Sleepy Hollow actor Tom Mison? M-I-S-O-N?
Oh, the guy who played Ichabod Crane.
Yeah. He's joined the cast of the Watchmen series in the lead role. So that's pretty cool. In addition, Francis Fisher, Jacob Bean Trent have also come on board.
So is he Dr. Manhattan? Or
what is the lead
comedian role? Or Rorschach? Or
you know what? The article actually doesn't say.
I mean, unless...
Isn't that something? The article doesn't say.
Unless it's going to be kind of like a Gotham thing where he plays like a Jim Gordon kind of character and all this stuff's happening around him.
Well, like in the miniseries, Rorschach was kind of the main character. He was the POV character for the audience.
Yeah, all the narration is through him. You kind of see it through his perspective.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he's Rorschach, I'm kind of okay with it. I'm kind of okay with him as Dr. Manhattan, too, but, Just don't make him mime, because that'll be horrible.
Yeah. I'd have to hear him, like, talking.
Now, they also join a cast right now that includes Jeremy Irons.
Yes.
Jeremy Irons has signed on, Regina King, Don Johnson, Tim Blake Nelson, Louis Gossett Jr. Pretty cool. And Andrew Howard as well. And I'm looking now at the original article, and this doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
Doesn't say who the lead role is.
A lot of the DC stuff works better, I think, in a television series format where you can actually build the character.
Definitely.
Not only with their strengths, but also their weaknesses. And that's why I think a lot of times the movies don't work as well when you're trying to cram like a season's worth of character development into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, it's just not, you can't do that. It's just, that's not going to work out.
Well, I just think DC characters lend themselves more to being dissected.
They do.
Yeah, Marvel characters like Tony Stark's rich and drunk, Captain America's a good guy, Spider-Man's a teenager, and that's it.
All right. Now, speaking of the DC Universe app. This was announced, and so they're going to launch. This is their streaming service essentially.
Yes,
and they're going to launch a live action series exclusive to the DC Universe app called Titans, and that'll come out later this year, followed by Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, and the animated Young Justice Outsiders and a Harley Quinn series in 2019.
Yes,
this will also join they're saying, quote, a curated selection of thousands of comic books, including titles related to the streaming shows they're going to have. Now, there's no release date, but you can sign up to beta test the app in August. So there's that.
Yes. Goose signed up already.
I'm sure he did. Goose, so I'm guessing you're pretty pumped for this.
Oh, yes. I looked at some of the list of possible things that are going to be on there. The main 4 Superman movies. Which I don't know why there's 4, because there's only 2.
Well, there was 2, and then there was the mistake.
Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Batman Ninja, Birds of Prey, The Flash 1990 series, Constantine 2014, Adventures of Superman, that's George Reeves, Max Fleischer's Superman serial, Superboy, Batman the Animated Series, Wonder Woman 77, Teen Titans, Super Friends, Legion of Superheroes, Young Justice, Static Shock, Lois and Clark. Some of the movies are All-Star Superman, Batman vs. Robin, Batman Year One, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, Green Lantern First Flight, Gotham by Gaslight, Justice League Doom, Justice League vs. Teen Titans, Superman Doomsday, and Wonder Woman, including also going to include a lot of digital titles, and it will be available on iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Android TV, and web.
Did you get all that? Because we're taking a quiz later, so I hope you took good notes there. We're not going through it again.
Well, we're running out of time.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, there is that hard news break that we got to take for the bottom of the hour news. Coming up after the break, though, Alex will talk to us about Corpus Christi Comic Con. We got a nickname for him. We're going to have to get you to help us decide, though. I got 2 of them I want to pick through. We'll be right back here on Freedom 1160 AM Talk Radio and Freedom1160.com.
This happens to be Pat Frost, and this is Get Your Geek On.
All right, welcome back from the bottom of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On Freedom 1160 Talk Radio and Freedom1160.com. I am Dave Gramillion, and if you missed the first half of our show, we had quite a little bit of Marvel news that we talked about. Evangeline Lily making fun basically of her male co-stars because her suit is apparently tremendously comfortable, and she didn't see what they were whining about. We are not getting a Kevin Smith directed Marvel or Star Wars film. Calm down. Just stop it. It's a lot of DCEU news that came out. There we go. Including the idea that we may get a young Batman movie. How interesting. That may take place outside of the DCEU franchise universe. Okay, I don't get that at all. We talked a little bit of HBO Watchmen news, and Goose, just his cup runneth over with joy about the DC Universe app, the streaming app that'll be coming out. The beta service will start in August. The rest of it, we're not sure when it's actually going to launch. Now,
about that younger Batman, here's what I think fans' reaction will be.
Oh, yes! I hate this! It is revolting! More? Please.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about. I mean, it's also that's still the Star Wars fan base right now. I mean, it is. I mean, they can't stand the movies that have come out. They don't want to see them, but at the same time, they're like, give us more.
No,
that'd be nice. We want more.
They want a fan film instead of a, studio backed.
Oh, that fan remake
professional
nonsense.
Director.
Dude, that thing is going to be such a cash grab. It's going to be just sick. The idea that anybody would donate to this thing, I'm sorry, you should have crumpled up your money and threw it out the car window. That's about how much good it's going to do.
I'm almost wondering if that came out on April 1st.
It didn't, actually. I wish it had. But no, apparently they've raised, what is it, $1.7 billion now they've raised?
No, I heard like $15 million.
So $13.8 billion, something like what rivals what we spend on defense spending every year. Like the DOD is getting jealous now about how much they raised. And they're all going to keep it. The movie will never get made.
Because of lawsuits.
Yeah, because Disney's like, dude, we have 4,500 lawyers that do nothing except shut stuff like this down.
Yeah.
There's no way it'll ever get made. It's going to be like Axanar for Star Trek. It'll never get off the ground, and they'll keep the money. Yep. They'll spend some of it on legal teams, and then they'll settle out of court, and they'll keep the rest. And somebody out there who came up with this idea, who's not me, sadly, is going to walk away with $40 million of your money. That's essentially
not my money.
It's essentially what it's going to boil down to. Well, whoever did that. It's terrible. Alrighty, so let's talk real quick about Dragon's Lair Alamo Ranch out on the west side of town. Technically the northwest, but it's 1604 and 151. I mean, come on, that's about as west as you can possibly get out there. That whole area is exploding, and that includes Dragon's Lair expanding out there in the Alamo Ranch area. And this place is tremendous. Yes, they have comics. Yes, they have graphic novels. Yes, they have figures and little plush, anime figures, and they're so cute and awesome. They got tabletop games galore, but they also have a large number of events and tournaments and game nights and tabletop. There's a lot going on out there, so you've got to check out Dragon's Lair over in Alamo Ranch. So we have a new co-host that's come on with us now. This is his second appearance as our co-host, and that is Alex Chavez, and he went to the Corpus Christi Comic Con.
Yes, sir.
So before we get to that, you got to have a nickname.
Okay.
I mean, that's just required. And I boiled it down to two.
Okay.
One of them I came up with, and that was just to call you newbie.
Okay.
Or noob, as the gamers call it. N00B, noob. I love it. It works. It's perfect. But in the chat at facebook.com/GYGO radio, someone came up with clickbait. And I kind of like clickbait. It's really growing on me.
I kind of like clickbait too, actually.
I kind of do.
Now that I'm hearing it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a poll.
Okay.
And I'm going to let the people decide. So you go to facebook.com/GYGO radio right now, and you will see our poll up there. We're going to pin it to the top because I really want this up there. I really do.
More than the video?
More than the video. At least for a while. And I want votes. What is his nickname going to be? Will it be clickbait or will it be newbie? Alrighty, so you went to the Corpus Christi Comic Con.
Yes, sir.
And you went down to the beach. You had a nice time. You got a good tan, which is great.
Yeah.
How was the con?
Well, I mean, I was texting you about it a little bit. I mean, it's not a huge con. It's not similar to some of the larger cons like that we might see here in the city or like in Houston and Austin and stuff like that. But I mean, it was fun more so in the sense that it was great to go there, meet artists, other geeks. The celebrity lineup was pretty fun, but it's a lot of celebrities that you see. Like Lou Ferrigno was there, which is crazy because Lou Ferrigno's never at any Comic Cons.
No, never.
So,
no,
he's not at anything. So it was like a once in a lifetime opportunity there. But I was telling you, I expected a little bit more from it, but it's also a young con. I think I'm definitely going to go next year just because it's more of a nice weekend.
Plus, you get to go to the beach.
Exactly.
Too, so,
it's you get to go to the con and you get to spend some time in Corpus. Go eat at Boat Net. All that Corpus stuff that you do, go see the Selena statue, and I don't know what else there is to do in Corpus.
A lot of that area has been hit by, there was the flooding, and before that was Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's always good to kind of give back and help the local economy a little bit.
There's the Lexington.
Yeah. Lexington.
Yes, Lexington.
The Texas State Aquarium.
Yes, the aquarium.
The Hooks. You can go see the minor league ball club down there. Minor league baseball is a blast, man.
There's Blackbeards.
It is so much fun.
Yes.
Blackbeards.
So it's a pretty good time down there. But if you were to rate the con 1 out of 10, with 10 being San Diego and 1 being a certain Comic Con that closed down that used to be in San Antonio and everybody hated.
Oh, gotcha. I think it's a good 5. Like, it's fun, I'm going to go back, but it's not something that I came home telling everybody, like, bro, we have to go to that con again next year.
Yep.
So if you're rating San Diego Comic Con a 10, that means Alamo City Comic Con must be a 15.
Well, we'll see, man. They've had a lot of guest announcements.
I know.
It's the 25th anniversary of the Sandlot movie, and they're bringing the whole cast down.
Yes.
You see that?
I did see that.
I got excited about Oscar today.
Yes.
I was super excited about that.
Yeah, Oscar the Grouch will be in the house.
No.
Oh.
Talking about Office Oscar.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's true. The puppeteer for Big Bird and the
I know they're going to be there too.
And the voice of Kermit and Ernie.
Yes,
going to be there as
I was kind of excited for that one.
It'll be great. It'll be fun. I can't wait for it. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's not my best.
Although, if y'all want to have a Kermit off,
I can do a good Kermit,
and just he wins by default. That's fine.
Yeah, no, that's okay. All right, so it was kind of meh. But it was. I mean, there were some voice actors.
Yeah,
and
it's growing. So I definitely see the potential that it has as a con. Just expected more, but I think those expectations hopefully will be met when we get another 2 to 3 years into that cycle of the con.
Now, sadly, we didn't make it out there.
No, we did not.
I wanted to go. I really was kind of back and forth about whether or not I wanted to go, whether I could go.
Oh, the AC worked this year.
And good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because that was the big knock on it last year.
Yeah.
Was that they? That was not fun. Special guest for the Alamo City Comic Con coming up Halloween weekend. It's the 26th to 28th. Theo Rossi will be there. Luke Cage will be there. So that'll be
Will Lou
fun.
Ferrigno be there?
I don't know. He barely goes to anything, so it's really hard to get him at shows, I hear.
Michael Coulter will be there. Art LaFleur will be there. Let's see. Who else will be there?
John Barrowman?
Billy Zane.
Huh. Do they have anyone from, like, Halloween? Like,
Freddy Krueger will be there.
Well, I mean, specifically, like, the Halloween franchise. Well, because
I don't know.
The 2018 Halloween movie is coming out, like, 2 weekends before.
Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
Will be there. Sure. That's a big name. Alan Oppenheimer, who was Skeletor, and he'll be there as well. Mm-hmm. Sam Jones, who never ever goes to a Comic Con ever.
What? Sam Jones?
And check this out. So it says Sam Jones, and who's just underneath him? Lou Ferrigno. There you go.
I'm glad they were able to lock him down.
I think it may have been possible that I may have seen a figment. It may have been a figment in my imagination, but I thought I saw Sam Jones at Greater Austin a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, imagine that. How about that?
Probably not.
Brent Spiner, Nev Campbell, Michael Rooker will be in the house also.
So when we were at Comic Palooza, they had a booth with LeVar Burton and Brent Spiner next to each other. Mm-hmm. And I asked LeVar Burton, and I said, hey, you're going to be in San Antonio in October with Brent? He says, I might be, actually.
So a little something. Maybe. Okay, all righty. Well, that covers our little con talk there. We're off on a little bit of a tangent. All right, so Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out next week.
Yes.
Finally, the long-awaited sequel, and that means box office prediction time. Now, the last two box office predictions we did, Minion lost the solo prediction by a lot.
Yes.
He called $200 million for that opening weekend. That was not anywhere near close. Mm-mm. So he had to go down to the street corner here outside the studio, and he had to sing I'm a Little Teapot at the top of his lungs for 5 minutes.
I saw.
Yeah, that camera work could have been better.
Shut up, Goose. And then, Goose, speaking of which, you lost the last one. You said Avengers would reach $2.25 billion, and it barely got over the $2 billion hump. So you had to eat those ghost pepper chips. You had to eat that. So that was that was spicy. I had one myself just for funsies. So that was a blast.
Opening weekend or full run?
So we're gonna do opening weekend.
Okay.
Just because Infinity War wanted to see how big it could possibly get.
Definitely.
But now I think for opening weekend for Ant-Man and the Wasp. So let's go around the horn here. We'll start my left, your right as you look across the radio dial. Alex, hit us with your box office opening weekend prediction for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, I gave it a lot of thought, and I think that what I'm comfortable saying is $85 million. So I think $85 million based off what the previous film made, knowing that potentially this one's going to grow a little bit because of the Wasp aspect. 85 is kind of where I'm at.
85 mil from newbie / clickbait. Goose, what are you rolling with?
Honestly, I'm going to go, and this is maybe underestimating or maybe overestimating. I'm going to go with 90.
Okay. 90 mil?
Because one, I think it's going to do better than the first one just because we know the tone.
Definitely.
True.
But it's not going to be as good as it possibly could be because of Infinity War. And we don't really want a interlude. We want the completion of that story.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
I think being too lighthearted too soon after Infinity War may actually hurt it.
All right. So your call was
90.
90, and you called
85.
85. I'm going to go 75.
75?
I'm going to go under. The first one made like 56.
I think it was
it was 56 or 60.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are all that excited about Ant-Man and the Wasp. The first one was cute.
Yeah.
And it did get past its expectations, which is why I'm going to bump it to 75.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people are really stoked for this one like they would be for another Thor movie or a Black Widow movie.
Definitely.
It's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't look all that different from the first one. Okay, we're going to take small stuff and make it really big. We're going to make big stuff, make it really small. Big deal.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of excitement for it, so I'm going to go 75 mil on mine.
I definitely agree. I just think from some of the early reviews that are coming out, I think that word of mouth that the movie is pretty good is going to get more moviegoers to go.
Well, that may be in the following weekend.
Yeah.
That could be.
It definitely does have a big effect going into that first weekend.
That's true.
So, question. How far are we going to take this significant figure-wise? For instance, if it hits 82.5...
We'll flip a coin.
Well, we can just go significant digits and see where we go from there.
Because we're all kind of in close proximity.
Yeah, that's true.
But 82.5 is right in the middle between you and I.
That's true. I mean, but it won't be 82.5 exactly.
That's true.
I mean, so
if it goes 82.5, you lose.
Yeah, okay. All right, fine. But I'll take the under. I have no problem taking the under. And here's the consequence. All right, so you had to eat the chips last time. Minion had to go downstairs and sing at the top of his lungs. This time, since it's Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'll go to Amazon. I'm going to buy some ant-related, insect-related candy. Or food or something. Yeah. Something. And it's actual insects. I'm not doing, it looks like the little wasp, but it tastes like fruit punch. No. It's going to be actual bug food. And someone's going to have to chow down on it.
Not bug food. Food made out of bugs.
Food made out of bugs. So somebody here is going to chow down on that. You can also make your prediction. Make your prediction at facebook.com/GYGO radio. You can tell us in our video chat. You can tell us, just leave us a post. Whatever you like to do, make your call your shot. I've got 75 million. You had 85.
And for right now, I believe we're going to do the consequences from now on at twitter.tv/GYGO_official. That is the current address. It may change before too terribly long.
Yeah, it might somewhere at some point if I ever get around to it. So the Rotten Tomatoes finally released their ratings for Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I believe it was 91%. I got to double check that.
Oh, nice, very good.
I'm pretty sure. Which Avengers: Infinity War was actually 83%. Yep. Deadpool 2 was 82%. Incredibles 2 was 94%.
So I know why Infinity War was so low.
Why it was so low?
Wait, and that's because with the way that it ended, the critics walked out of there and said, "I hate you, Marvel."
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, by the way, was 51%.
That doesn't shock me.
No, pretty low for that standard. But I'm looking at it now. It is 90%. The average rating is 6.9 out of 10. There are 63 fresh and 7 rotten ratings so far. The critic consensus is, quote, a lighter, brighter superhero movie powered by the effortless charisma of Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly. Ant-Man and the Wasp offers a much-needed MCU palate cleanser.
And we interviewed one of the people in that movie, Walton Goggins, over at Comicpalooza. Go to tinyurl.com/SkyGo YouTube and find that. And find Walton all up in David's space.
Yeah, he was really close. I mean, really close during that interview. I mean, I'm up against this metal pole that divides his area from I forget who was next. Michael Chiklis. Michael Chiklis was next to him. So I'm standing there and I'm just kind of going over my notes, and he comes up and he's, "Hey, how you doing?" Shakes my hand, and I'm like, "Wow, you're a lot taller than I thought you were." And he's, "Oh, okay." We're having a good time. We get together for the interview, and man, he is right on me.
Dang.
Like physically touching me the whole time, and I'm trying to lean, get a little space, and he just leans along with me, and I'm like, "Okay."
So the funny part is, Walton Goggins was the closest. Dante Bosco was probably the second closest, and then the furthest away was Tricia Helfler.
I can't say that I blame her. So there's that. That's okay. So are y'all really all that excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I actually am. I enjoyed the first one immensely, and everybody that I introduced that to, and they're like, "Eh," I say, "No. Watch when they have the fights." And then they go up to scale, you will laugh and laugh and laugh. Yeah. Like, whatever. Then the first time the Thomas the Tank Engine falls off the track, you're like, "Oh, gosh, that's funny."
That was pretty good. Because he's all like, "Oh," the train's going towards him, and it's just thunk.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it because Peyton Reed, the director, while he did do the first one, a lot of those creative decisions were already made before he came on the project. So this one is strictly him doing the film.
So here's the big question, because you haven't seen Deadpool 2 yet.
I have not.
Were you super excited to see Deadpool 2?
No.
You weren't? Okay. No.
You haven't seen Deadpool or Solo?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that weird? At least I've seen Solo. I haven't seen Deadpool 2 yet.
Really?
I haven't.
I see Deadpool 2.
Well, wow. Here in the studio, in the comfy confines of our studio. Now, to be fair, I just wasn't that excited to go see Deadpool 2. Now, I'd just seen Infinity War, and I'd just seen Solo, so there was a little fatigue on my end, too. But at the same time, I was like, that may be a movie that I just wait for Netflix to pick it up. Yeah.
Personally, I think X2 and Deadpool are like two of my favorite X-Men movies.
Wait, X2?
X2.
Have you seen Logan?
Well, I'm counting X-Men movies, like where the X-Men are heavily involved. And while Logan is technically an X-Men movie, I see that as like its own thing. Kind of like how The Dark Knight isn't a Justice League movie. You see
Wolverine as its own franchise. Like if the Batfleck is part of the Justice League, but if he goes off and does his own movies, then those are just his Batman movies.
Yeah, kind of like X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh,
would be
don't
a
even start me on that
standalone.
nonsense.
Yeah.
But it has Ryan Reynolds in it as Deadpool.
That's nonsensical.
Oh, goodness. All right, so we've got our box office prediction in the bag. We've got the consequence. We know what's up for grabs.
Yes.
But the show doesn't feel quite right if we don't do at least a little Star Wars. I feel that we got to do...
We don't have to do Star Wars every week.
Just a little Star Wars. Just a little bit. Let's talk some Star Wars.
I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
Alrighty, so this is brought to you by absolutely nobody.
Mailing Spot.
Now we can talk about the Mailing Spot. We love the Mailing Spot. They're up there on Blanco and Hebner Road, and that's where I do all my shipping, regardless of if it's for the show, if it's for me, if it's my taxes, my Christmas cards, whatever. I always head up to the Mailing Spot. But it also, by the way, we do have a couple advertising spots open. If anybody else out there would like to sponsor the show, would like to hear an ad on this award-winning talk radio show in San Antonio, just saying, you can reach out to me at Dave the Host at getyourgeekon.org.
And we have some exciting news next week.
Oh, we do have some big exciting news next week, but that's next week. All right, so there isn't a lot of Star Wars news. There really is not. This is a dead period for them while they kind of regroup and figure out what's going on.
Well, to be fair, there could be a little bit of Star Trek news because Kathleen Kenney's getting fired.
Did you just say Star Trek news?
No,
Yeah,
you said Star Trek.
I heard Trek. I heard
Star
Trek.
Wars news.
Rumor has it you said Star Trek.
Yeah, that's the rumor anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kathleen Kenney's getting fired.
I don't know how much credence I put into that. It sounds like just a bunch of clickbait nonsense to me.
Hey, that's me.
Maybe. We'll see. we'll see. So, all right. So here's the deal. So we have 10 Star Wars movies.
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
And I think it's time that we finally sat down and we put
10
them all
live-action
together.
theatrical run movies.
Yes, we are not counting the Clone Wars movie. We are not counting Battle of Endor. We are not counting anything made for TV. We are not counting fan-made films or anything of that nature, although there are some really good fan-made films. So I thought it's best that we stir up some controversy and we just rank our own top 10. So let me go ahead and I'll kick things off here.
Okay.
My personal top 10 from worst to first, hated it to love it, Star Wars films. Starting at number 10, Attack of the Clones is an easy pick. There's so little I actually liked about this movie. It's the ultimate snooze fest. It raises more questions than it answers. It's not a good movie.
I have an issue with it being at the bottom of your list.
Okay.
That movie is
Yeah.
actually important to the overall arc.
They're all important to the overall arc. Yes, they are.
There's one that's not.
Which one?
Phantom Menace.
Okay, well, it does set the groundwork.
No, you could go into Attack of the Clones without seeing Phantom Menace and be perfectly fine.
Maybe, but there's some good stuff in there. So, but Attack of the Clones, there's so much that you're like, wait, why did that happen? Why didn't they just do this? Why this just happened? So why are you? There were so many questions that the movie raised while you're watching it that it makes it unwatchable in certain points. Don't start swerving off the road or getting ready to throw things at me. But Attack of the Clones, number 10. Number 9, Rogue One. I know this is going to raise a lot of people like, what, are you kidding me here? Except for the last 20 minutes, Rogue One's a waste of time. Yes, I said it. You can quote me. Rogue One's a waste of time.
Dang.
Except for the last 20 minutes. Good space battle. There's a lot at stake. The emotions are running high. Vader shows up. That's pretty cool. The rest of it, I don't care. I'm not emotionally attached to the characters. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Do you care?
No, not even a little bit.
I think he cares.
Not even a little bit. So Rogue One makes number 9. Number 8, Revenge of the Sith. It's too long of a lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin. I get it. He loses and becomes Darth Vader. Move on. I don't care. Number 7, The Phantom Menace. Yes, I put The Phantom Menace as the best prequel movie out there. Isn't that weird? Isn't that awesome?
I'd say Get Out, but it's your show.
Yeah. Pretty much. Number 6, Solo. I put Solo at 6. A good movie, not a bad movie, but it didn't really knock my socks off either. Number 5, The Force Awakens. the first third of that movie is really good, and then when they get off Jakku, everything starts to go downhill. And I'm like, I've seen this already.
Well, we've even seen the parts of Jakku. It's called
Tatooine, yeah, pretty much. But still, the way that they brought about Rey's character and how we get to know her and what drives her, I like that part. But then afterwards, I'm like, cantina scene. You got to hit the, see, that's what, yep, seen it.
And they take off in the Falcon.
And for some reason, Chewie somehow knows where Rey and Finn are at the end, and he just happens to show up right where they are, and I'm like, how? I didn't...
Because movie.
Because movie. Yeah, there you go. In true Star Wars fashion, because movie. So number 5 is The Force Awakens. Number 4, Return of the Jedi. Believe it or not, The Return of the Jedi, what bugs me is that it takes so long for it to become its own movie. Yep. It doesn't become its own movie until after Yoda dies. Because everything from that point before is dealing with the leftovers from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So had it been more of its own movie, it'd be higher up on the list. Number 3, my top 3. Here we go. The Last Jedi, number 3. And a lot of people are going to be like, what? Wait, what? It's a smarter movie than we know.
Yeah.
It's a different movie. It bucks the trend. I like that they took risks. And a lot of it makes sense to me. So number 3. Number 2, Empire Strikes Back. Not my favorite of all time, but it's really, 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 really close. Really close. The Yoda scenes on Dagobah do drag a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's actually my favorite part of the movie is when they're on Dagobah, but even I admit it drags a bit.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's the obvious plot hole. I mean, come on. How'd they get from Hoth to Cloud City with no hyperdrive? You literally can't. It would take months, if not years or decades, to get there.
It could be months. You don't know.
Well, then they better have a lot of food on board.
They were probably rationing.
Because movie.
Because movie. There you go. Because George Lucas snaps his fingers and say, I want them there, so they're there. And number 1, it's the only one left. It's A New Hope. It's timeless. It's classic. It broke new ground. It was tremendous. And there's really not a bad spot in the film. I can't think of a bad spot. Yes, the duel between Obi-Wan and Vader was kind of but it's what we had for the time. We never had that before.
But I want to go to Taiki Station and get power converter.
that is key to his arc. You got to start low if you're going to go. You can't start being a total badass. You can't do that. You've got to start low and then go up from there.
But he didn't have to take after his father and be a whiny little brat.
But then that sets up the prequels and makes them even more relevant. So there you go. So there's my top 10. Let's go around the horn here. Top 10. Alex.
Definitely. I'll shoot them off a little quickly here. But, so my 10 is Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Not a huge fan of it. It was one of the first I saw growing up because I'm only 3. Remember that. Number 9 is Attack of the Clones. So besides Jango Fett, there was nothing I took away from that movie that I really, really held on to.
Okay.
Number 8, I have Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
I think it's the best out of the
Got all
the
3 prequels in the bottom.
Yeah.
All right. Go for it.
Yeah, number 7 for me is The Last Jedi. I like it a lot more than most people do.
Okay.
Number 6 is Rogue One. I think it's just fine. To me, I enjoy it more than The Last Jedi. Number 5 for me is Solo. I really loved Solo. Return of the Jedi is number 4 for me. Then I have number 3 as Force Awakens. I'm a little flipped with you here, David. I have number 2 as A New Hope, and number 1 is Empire Strikes Back.
All right,
definitely.
Very cool. Goose,
okay,
go
so
for it.
Solo's out because I haven't seen it yet, but we start with The Phantom Menace at number 9.
All right.
God-awful movie that is completely unnecessary. 8, Revenge of the Sith. You were the chosen one. Ewan McGregor's better than that. I'm sorry. Force Awakens, number 7.
Wow.
It's a retread of A New Hope in so many ways. And they killed Han Solo. No. Number 6, Attack of the Clones. The best of the prequels, in my opinion. Forwards the story along, and you get a lot more of the seeds of Anakin turning to the dark side in that movie.
Okay.
And you see, Luke and Leia's parents actually be normal people. Number 5, The Last Jedi. Actually, they took risks. They did okay. I enjoyed it. I don't hate it. Still not my cup of tea, but overall I think it's a good movie. Number 4, Rogue One, because it had nothing dragged on. It was a good one and done. You had the character arcs in a movie. There was nothing that you could really drag on into the end, and it ended where I wanted it to end, which is right into A New Hope. Number 3 is A New Hope. Speaking of that. Number 2 is Return of the Jedi. And number 1 is Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So we all had Empire up there, either 1 or 2. So there you go. If you agree with us or don't, and you want to submit your top 10, you can do that at facebook.com/GYGO Radio. If you want to tweet at us, you can find us at also GYGO_radio. You can shoot me an email at davethehost@getyourgeekon.org. For Goose, for Alex, and for myself, I want to thank all of our sponsors, Laser Legend, Dragon's Lair, Alamo Ranch, Havoc, and the Mailing Spot. Thank you for listening, and make sure to get your geek on every single day. Good night, everybody.